Welcome back, everybody. Episode 31 of No Brush Required. It's Tuesday again. How did that happen? My name's Tamara Grand. You are following me on Tamara Grand Art. Hi, Marcia. How are you? As you guys hop in, please say hello. Tell me where you're from. What's going on in your world today? I see Melody. I see Douglas from Seattle. Hi guys, Lucy's here. Hi Lucy. Things are going to be a little bit different today. Barb is not joining us. Her mom has a bit of a medical situation and she's on standby. She may have to be ready to go quickly. So we're sending her our best wishes all the way from the west coast of Vancouver to the center of Canada, Ontario. Hi Sue. Hi Ruhi. Hi Lucy. Sunny in Seattle. Douglas. Same here. We had some sun today, although we had hail yesterday. How about you guys? You're in the same time zone, weather zone as I am. So guys, as you're coming on, couple of things. I will not be able to respond to everything as quickly as normal because I've only got one set of eyes on the camera. Normally Barbara's watching for comments and things like that. So if I miss a question and I need to scroll back or you need to ask it again, or we use the question sticker later, that would be really great just to help me today. If I miss you, I'm not avoiding you. I'm not being rude. I just can't follow everything at the same time. All right. Any issues with sound? I'm good today. Last time I used my AirPods, my sound cut out. So if you guys can't hear me at all during this conversation, please just let me know in the comments and I'll get rid of them. All righty. Today we have the first of three British artists that are going to be joining us in the next 3 weeks. And I'm going to grab our guest today. Most of you guys will know her. Many of you guys will know her. In England, near Cornwall. And Fiona's become a very good friend of mine across the pond. Hey, Fia, how are you?
But looking very low down, I feel like.
Are you slouching?
I wasn't when I was on the whole screen.
Oh, I know.
When
It changes.
I'm just at the bottom half. That's better.
It changes when you go from whole to small to extra. And I noticed when we went to 4 people on screens last week, all of a sudden I think I got really small compared to what I normally am. So just move your chair.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been a kinesiology day today, so it's been a busy day with clients. But yeah, they were all behaving generally, so
good.
Well. Not making me work too hard. So yeah.
So you haven't had much time for art making yet today?
Oh, I haven't had much time for art making. It feels like, well, it's probably only a couple of weeks, but it feels longer.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Well, and you know how it is, you go through these phases where you have lots of opportunity to be creative and make things, and then you come to the end of that phase, that series, and I know you just released a whole bunch of paintings on your website, so that probably took a week or two to get all of that stuff organized and the finishing work, and hopefully the shipping and posting work will start.
A little bit of that going on, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of our viewers will know you, but not everybody. So what we usually like to do is, first of all, we talk about our connection. So Fiona and I have been connected for just a couple of years now. Where did we meet? Was it Louise Fletcher's
It was
Find Your Joy course? Yes.
Many of us. Yeah.
Same with Lucy. I see Lucy's on here. So really that was a start of painting for you, right? Painting seriously?
Painting seriously, yeah. I mean, I'd always dabbled and done a few, like, you know, I'm in Cornwall and we're really lucky we've got the St. Ives School of Painting and the new school, which are, you know, really well renowned and have amazing teachers. And so I went through a phase of asking for tokens for birthdays and Christmases and squirreling away and, you know, immersing myself for a week every now and again. And then as soon as I was a course, I just didn't have time or space, or at least thought I didn't, to pursue it anymore. So then it just got put down for another year or so, or more than. And yes, it was lockdown, like many of us. I'm a therapist, kinesiologist, so, you know, there was no way I was being able to see clients, and it was, you know, a good 6 months both times really, because you know, I was in the last category because I work from my own home as well. You know, it's like you couldn't have people and visitors into the house, so it was a double whammy. So, but that meant I could paint lots, which is kind of what I did, and immersed myself in it, and my treatment room became an art studio, and, you know, that still happens most weeks. Not recently.
And that was the reason why you had time to take that long course, that 10 or 12-week course in 2020, right?
Yeah, I do. I remember I did the taster course not for 1 minute thinking I would sign up, and then I was like, God, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. I felt a bit of like, oh, can I? You know, it felt a lot of money for, you know, just a hobby, but I thought, no, I'm going to do it. And yeah, it was as soon as I signed up, I actually then someone on Instagram asked to buy one of the paintings that I'd made from the taster course. So I was like, okay, that's a sign. I'm doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah. And that's Louise Fletcher's taster course, which I know is coming back up again this year. She offers it every year. And Louise is actually going to be on in a couple of weeks to chat with us about it, which is kind of fun too. So it'll be like old school week, right? Everybody getting back together. So just a quick question though, because I think in North America, kinesiologist means something different than it does in the UK. So here it means more like a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
And I think your work is broader than that.
All sorts of woo-woo.
You do woo-woo. Excellent. Tell us about it.
So its roots are, it was actually it's an American, George Goodhart, I think that originally came up with it. So its roots are from chiropractic and acupuncture. And they sort of realized that the different muscles link to different meridians from acupuncture, and that you can isolate a muscle as much as possible. So you're testing just that muscle, and when it tests weak and strong, you're not just necessarily looking at how physically strong it is, but how it's working energetically. So you could be working in quite a physiotherapy way, working very manually on the muscles, or, you know, working on different vertebrae that need moving, but it could also be on some nutrition's out, you shouldn't be eating a particular food, there's big emotional stress, you know, all sorts of things. So it's very holistic, and actually quite creative, because, you know, the muscle testing's a tool in, and then you've got a massive broad list of tools and techniques taken from all other therapies basically that you can
But the energy work feeds into your painting probably more than anything, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because of my painting, I mean, I think it's the intuitive approach is what really hooked me big time, because obviously I'd always dabbled, but, you know, there would often be a big white page, oh my God, what am I going to do? And, you know, what am I going to do with that kind of thing? And that's just never an issue now. But like you know, once you've learned that sort of just play and intuitive activating the canvas thing, as they call it, that was the big change for me in terms of hooking it in. And yeah, so I've worked different ways with actually sort of being more intentional at putting different energy in, and other times it's sort of, oh, that's where that's come from, which I'll realize almost after a painting is finished sometimes, as I think a lot of intuitive painters do.
Right. But you focus a lot, especially with your commission work, right? You focus a lot on the intention and the energy and maybe the words and the places and the memories that your clients are interested in bringing out.
Yeah, I guess it's much more of a collaboration then. So they will send me sort of photos. They usually send me a massive list, you know, thing of all sorts of different photos. It might be documents, handwriting, bits and maps, you know, and tell me little stories about places, and then and then they just give me, do your thing, maybe use these colors, which is, you know, about as confined as I would feel comfortable being, really. And then just go for it, which is good fun, because it often makes my work a bit different from what I'd normally do, I think, because it's feeding into the client more so. Yeah.
It's funny though, because someone who watches your work online, I can always tell when it's your work, even if it's a commission. And you know how it is when it's our own work. We're like, whoa, that is so different from me. And then everyone else says, what? I can see your handprints are all over that.
Yeah, like your one you posted today, your still life florals. It's like they're so Tamara.
Isn't that funny? Because I almost didn't post them, because I thought, oh my gosh, they're so different from what I have been doing recently.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did, because they're still, I think that's great though, isn't it? When your work is so recognizable that you can do something so different, but you can still, as you say, see your handwriting, see your fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's there. The marks you make are like those, aren't they? So
yeah. For sure. And that's what I see in yours, especially with the colors. I mean, you're obviously inspired by your environment. Tell us about where you live and what it's like there.
So I'm very lucky. I live in a beautiful part of the UK, so southwest England, the far little tip, Cornwall, and I'm about a mile from the coast, So I've got big, beautiful beaches. It's North Coast, which tends to be more sort of surf, you know, wild places.
Right.
So yeah, so it's absolutely stunning, and you know, it's easy. You have to walk for a bit, but you can still get away from the crowds in the summer if you know if you
Right.
just go to the regular
Right.
place. You have to walk, but yeah, it's big skies and big places. And,
Yeah. And you
yeah.
like to get out on the water in lots of different ways, right?
Oh, I haven't done
Swimming and
it long. I was just sitting. I met with a friend this week and we're saying, oh, we must go out on the stand up paddle boards and sups because I haven't done it for ages. So that's a bit more on the north coast. Waiting for it to be flat can be an issue. The sea, because
right.
I'm not a stand-up paddleboard surfer by any stretch of the
Oh,
imagination.
have you ever been ducked off your board?
By the kids.
Okay.
No, I just wouldn't take it out in big surf. I'm not like
Yeah.
not like, and it's the flat, the calm that I like. And when it's like you can get out, there's the cliffs nearby us. It's all old mining, so it's all tin and copper. You know, I don't know if you had Poldark over there, but you know that's our country. So
No.
it was a TV series that got quite big, and it's yeah. So there's all the old mine workings just dotted along the coast on the coast. So you see the odd engine house, but often it's just little holes, marks in the cliff. But the minerals from the
Yeah.
rocks are all just stained, and it looks like someone's painted them. Which, you know, I'd lived here 22 years, and last couple of years was the first time I actually got out in the water because we got stand-up paddleboards again and got around to those parts of the cliff. I couldn't believe, you know, the colours. I think you've probably seen them on my Instagram, but you know, they really are turquoise and rusty iron colours, and yeah, really beautiful. So that's
well, we see them in your paintings. I can see them in the pieces that are behind you right there.
yeah.
Have you played with the minerals to make paints or dyes out of them? Do I remember that you've done that?
I went through a bit of a phase of playing with making ink. So I made some copper ink and some iron oxide ink, and then which was good fun. But I'm not sure about the light fastness, which is why I've not more with them. And you know, when I looked into it more, there was just a bit more complications that, you know, involved cooking things, and I didn't have the right pans and didn't want to ruin my nice pans. And then it was like the smells, and you should do it outside, you know, it all got a bit more complicated as opposed to the iron and it's really easy. You just put it in a jam jar, some rusty old nails, and put vinegar on it, I think. And the copper was again just copper, but with vinegar and salt, I think. It's really easy.
So the acid just takes it out.
Yeah, and it's amazing the crystals and the colours you get from it.
I wonder if there's a medium you could add to it to make it light fast, or
I don't know. I know there's I mean, I did gum arabic was to make it to stick to paper, so it's more like watercolor. I don't know. Is that, you know what it's like? You get down a rabbit hole and then pulled off to another one. So
I know.
Do you ever
really find answers?
No. I actually came across my jars that had been left for like about a year, and they're rock solid with crystal. So I think they need a bit more work to get them going again. A bit more vinegar in them.
Oh, for sure. So what are you working on these days? Hey, Rena. Rena's saying hello.
Oh, hi.
From Baltimore.
Well, I got a fair bit that I just itching to get back to. So still with the oil sticks. That's been my latest exploration. Finding different ways of using those with mixed media, not by themselves. So I think there's a lot more I can do with, or you know, a lot more to find out with those. So it just feels like I've scratched the surface really with them. So
well, and you need to keep filming that, because I think you've had a few reels with your oil sticks go viral.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows what it was? You know what I mean? It's the fickle beast, isn't it, of the algorithm. So yeah, I was lucky that I had a couple that did do really well. But
you mean you didn't plan that? There wasn't like a hashtag you're not telling us about that we need to know, so we can get in on that too?
If only, Tamara, if only. No. But yeah, so yeah, that feels a while ago. I haven't even had a chance to do a reel or anything recently, but it's a funny one, isn't it? This whole business.
It is. We can talk about social media forever too. That's been a conversation before. I would like to invite anybody who has questions for Fee. You can pop your questions into the question box. If you just look down at the bottom of your screen, there's a little bubble with a question mark in it, or you could type it in the comments, but I told you I might not grab all the comments if things start to fly by. There, that was my aside. Other thing I wanted to talk to you about was congratulations on being a guest artist for Chroma Collective Gallery this month. You are one of 6, along with Barbara, who's not here today, and we would have chatted with her, both of you, about that.
I know, it was so lovely of them to invite me in. It was a bit of a shock, really, but I know you've been one too. You were there last
month. Yeah. It's really, they're a great group. And if anybody's not following them, I'll link it up in the show notes afterwards. Chroma Collective Gallery. It's a group of 6 American artists who I believe they met through an art pod. Was it through Connected Artist Pod? I'm not positive. I might be saying the wrong thing, but I thought it was. And they just decided to form their own online collective gallery. And so they show every month on their website, and they each invite a guest artist to participate in the show. And they've been so wonderful for as far as promoting, sharing content, inviting you to chat with the other artists. So I recommend you take full advantage of that this month, because it's just such a great place to kind of get seen.
I'm so generous of them, because it must be quite a lot of work as well. So
and they're just getting started, so they will build and grow over time. The artists that the founding members are, I think, quite all established artists. But yeah, it's a fun month, so relish in it. Everybody will share your work and see your work. I'm just going to pull up a question. You might be able to see it when I pull it up. Just let me see. Oh, Douglas's question. Douglas is asking, do you use canvas or board?
I much prefer board, especially oil sticks just don't really work for me very well on canvas. They're fine if you're just drawing them, but I tend to like to really move them around with a colour shaper often, instead of moving in quite hard. And I've, when I was experimenting with that, I was doing a lot on paper, because it was that whole experimental shape. It just feels a bit more free, doesn't it, than a big board. And so that again was on a hard surface, really. So I do canvases, like the latest commission I did was on a canvas, but it's usually if I've got bits that I need to use up. It's not my choice. There's advantages, isn't there? There's canvas, especially as you go bigger, they're so much lighter, and you can easier to sand if you take them off the stretchers. So
I've never done that before. I'm terrified of having to put them back on and getting them stretched properly.
Yeah, it's not a technique. I'm presuming someone else would do that at the other end.
I just find there's too much bounce once they get bigger. And the first time I ever used a large canvas, it had stretcher bars up the middle, of course, and I was using a brayer, and all of a sudden I had this horrible brayer mark where it had pressed into the stretcher bar behind, and so that's made me a little bit leery about using canvas.
Yeah, I would normally put a board behind in that situation to stop it, but you don't always remember, do you, when you're in the flow? So.
Well, and not when you're doing it for the first time. I mean, that's how you learn, right? Whoops, shouldn't have done that. But do you ever get clients that ask you for preference for one over the other?
No, actually, no. No, it's more size that is the issue. And yeah, so and I think because most of my work is on board, that's what they would expect, So.
Yeah. Now, you started playing around with making your own frames too, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And how's that going?
Well, when I say making, I cheat, because I get someone else to cut the molding for me, and they send it ready cut, and then I assemble it.
Okay.
And yeah, that's been an interesting learning process as well, but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
So storing can be an issue, because they can warp if you're not.
Okay.
Especially in damp Cornwall, so that's been interesting. When I said, why is this not fitting together, and realizing why. But again, you learn tricks to get around. But it's quite simple. It's just you just need to. There's a couple of bits of equipment. People have asked me to do a reel on it, and I keep meaning to, but it's actually quite a long, involved process in terms of, you know, and I just haven't really, I think not having a set space up makes it quite tricky. You know, if I had my own studio that I could leave it up in and come back to, it would be much easier to do that. But it's very piecemeal and things just all over the place. So.
And I would expect it'd be easier if it would make more sense if you had to do a whole bunch at once, as opposed to just doing one off every time you have another painting that needs to be framed, right?
Well, I mean, I've got open studios coming up, so I will have to do a bit more batch framing. So you never know, it might happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, tell us about that, and tell us who's coming to join you in open studios.
So it's at the end of May, beginning of June. We've got a big holiday here because it's the Queen's Jubilee, so we've got quite a few extra bank holidays thrown in, and it's the school half term. So it's the county-wide open studios. So I don't think, you said you don't really have those in Canada. So.
Well, not in my community. I don't know. I haven't. It seems like it's a big thing for you guys in the UK, and everybody's always talking about open studios. And I haven't. It's not as prevalent here. Some communities have it. Some don't.
Yeah. So it's basically opening up your studio or house. Your art. So I didn't do it last year. Well, it wasn't on in Cornwall last year, and you know, I just wasn't in the right headspace to do it in terms of my own space and stuff. But yeah, so I signed up for it. I was umming and ahhing, and then I just thought, oh, I'll just send them an email about something. And they were like, oh yeah, it's closed, but if you get it in now, tonight, it'll be fine. And this was like 5:30 in the evening. That was 10 o'clock at night trying to scrabble stuff together. So that was interesting, but got in. And then lovely friend, Lucy Roger-Smith, she was saying, because she's got an art fair coming up in Manchester, I think, the Manchester Art Fair. Is it November, September, something like that?
Yeah, I think November.
You know, she'd quite like a bit of practice run. I said, well, come to Cornwall. So she's going to come and join me. So quite good. My husband is taking my daughter. They're going up to Scotland. And my poor son's stuck here because he's got his GCSEs. So he'll be right. But so it'll be me and Lucy having fun and doing lots of art.
Yeah, and then your son can help clean the house.
Yeah, because he'll love that. You haven't met him.
No, but you can put him to work.
Yeah, as I say, you haven't met my son tomorrow.
Lucy's
he'll
excited.
be revising. I couldn't put that on him, so it'll probably help with a bit of work. But
yeah. Well, you might be able to get him to help with open studios too, because what I keep hearing from people who are doing art fairs or studio tours like this is to have an extra person on hand to do things like hand out cards or process sales while you're talking to people.
Lucy down.
Well, she's going to have to be talking about her work.
That is true. But yeah, there'll be two of us though, won't there? So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how. I mean, who knows how busy it'll be? I've never done it before, and it's, you know, we're kind of out on a limb here. So we'll just see what happens. So
how many pieces of art would you feel like you have to have space for? How many paintings?
Well, probably quite a few. Quite a few. It's difficult to know, between 20, 30, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. We've got a really big gallery wall in the kitchen, which we sort of built the extension when we moved here I don't know, a long time ago, 10 years ago, I don't know. we built it 10 years ago, but yeah, never really envisaged at that point I'd be showing my own art on it, so it's quite bad how it works.
Are you going to have some smaller pieces to take away? I know sometimes people like to do that with art fairs and things as well. Have a lot of
chatting to, I don't know if you follow Suzanne Nicole. I was chatting to her about it, and she had a really, really successful open studios last year, and she was saying did things like she had a sort of flip through thing of just old bits of artwork that, you know, she hadn't really thought much of, but was selling. I can't remember what she sold them for, like 25 quid a go or something. She said, but they just flew out, and she said she did that instead of cards or something, because, you know, people want to buy something, don't necessarily want to spend hundreds of pounds on something. So she said that worked quite well. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so worth a try. But yeah, Any ideas welcome from the many people that have done it.
I know. If anybody has any suggestions for her, you feel free to drop them in the comments or send her a message, other things that she might want to think about. I mean, I always love the little art blocks because I find those are, those are easy to pick up and take. And, we've talked before about how cropping is a great tool for generating little pieces of art.
Definitely. Yes. I've never done, because you've done them really little, haven't you? Done them.
I do 4x4s. Yeah. And actually, I'm just going to reach. These ones came from, Monica Johnson, right? She's
that's cute. Yeah.
This is a 3x3.
Wow.
Little chunky block. Really cute, right?
Love it. Yeah.
So something like that. Somebody just mentioned, Hope Catcher Studio said having a door prize. Make sure you have a door prize might be a good idea. And also make sure you have some way for people to sign up for your email list.
Now, what's a door prize?
A door prize is like something that you randomly give out. So I have seen this at like an art crawl before, where somebody will have a small piece of art will be a prize that they're going to give to somebody who comes through, and then they'll have like little slips of paper, a raffle, little slips of paper where they put their name. Maybe that's how they get them on their email list. Sign up for the email list and then get your name in the raffle, and then at the end of the weekend you can raffle that thing off and get in touch with them and give them the whatever it is you decide to do.
Yeah, thank you, whoever gave that idea. It's great.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I've got another question here too. Let me see who this is. Oh, this is Lucy saying, when I come to see you, are you going to take me to the Copper Caves?
Only if she's happy on a stand-up paddleboard.
There you go, Lucy. You heard it. Are you happy on a stand-up paddleboard?
I think I know the answer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think other suggestions for takeaways, people for small bits of art or things to have at your art stand. Raffles good to build up email lists, says Preeti. Absolutely. Think about how you're going to do that. Is it going to be written down on paper? In my Rothko pod, I believe Lori, one of my podmates, had talked about having an iPad. And so people could sign up right on your iPad as opposed to having having.
Yeah, so I was in a similar pod just last night, and we were talking about this, and someone had just asked people to DM them their emails.
Right.
And they'd put them in, but they weren't really getting to places.
Right.
People weren't seeing them. And I think you might have been on that same call, actually. It was, so to actually put them in physically into the computer is a much better way. So then they have to confirm. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you're making sense.
Get stuck in spam, which is something I hadn't thought of, and actually a couple of people have asked me to do that, and admittedly they hadn't opened my last email, so that could well be what.
Another thing you could think about is having a QR code that they can just scan with their phone, and that QR code takes them right to your mailing sign up list. That would be another way to do it. That's one more step for them, but at least they're putting the information in, and you're not stuck trying to look at their handwriting going, is that an S or an F?
That is true. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah. Preeti also suggested bookmarks with your art on it.
Oh, that's another good crop, isn't it?
Yeah. Cards always sell well, says Steph Holden.
Yeah.
So lots of things here. And you have lots of the paintings already, right? Unless everything sells from your website in the next month. If it doesn't sell, then then you'll have nothing on the wall at Open Studios.
Yes. Well, I'll have Lucy's stuff. It'll be fine.
Absolutely, you will, and then you can just be her helper.
Exactly. That'd be a very lovely situation to be in, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. I had another question for you and it's gone. Anybody else want to pop on with some questions? Anybody else want to pop on and chat with Fee directly? You can always do a request to join because we've only got 2 squares today. Rena said note cards do sell. Yes, Rena, and I have some of your lovely note cards that you sold back before Christmas, I believe. You have a question. Go ahead, ask your question. IG Art Platform. You can write it in the comments. I can read it, I think. Go ahead and ask, or ask in the question sticker. Doesn't really matter. Either one. So I want to ask you a little bit about your big trip that you're going on later this year. And whether you're going to take any art supplies with you, looking for
Time.
inspiration.
Going to be action packed, hopefully. So yeah,
Is
we've booked tickets. So this is interesting. This is vaguely art related. I wonder if I've got it here. Bear with me a minute. I'll see if I can find something. So I painted this about a year ago, and it's been my vision board. So this was all about my art business, my art studio, which we're about to put planning in for. Very exciting. And I don't know if you can see that there, but there's a little elephant hidden in there. That was travel.
I see the trunk.
Yeah, that was travel to exotic places, and it's finally happening, hopefully. So
wonderful.
Tickets to Costa Rica, which is so exciting. So it's my 50th this year. It was my husband's last year. It's our 20th wedding anniversary, and my son will have finished his exams. So it was like, good excuse. Let's do it.
So much to celebrate this year.
Exactly. So very exciting. So that's also another reason why I've not been painting, because my head has been filled with planning. So
yeah. Well, will you take a sketchbook? Do you use a sketchbook when you're traveling?
I'll have to take. I will, but I'm no good with just pencil or black and white. I need colour, is what I've discovered with sketch, and preferably ink or at least one tube of paint. And just pencil for me.
What about like Derwent? I like the Derwent Inktense pencils because they're water soluble. So if you dip them in water, you get those beautiful vibrant colors, and then they set right away. Yeah,
definitely. No, they're good. But something about the fluid that you can't control it. You know, that uncontrollability with paint. That's what I really love. So
but you won't be probably having time to make anything finished. It'll just be ideas and and that's what your camera on your phone is for anyways, right?
So we are going in rainy season, and it is supposed to downpour for 2 or 3 hours a day. So I'm thinking that could be the perfect sit and make art as you watch the bounce off the jungle. So
Rena's saying water soluble crayons and graphite are good things to bring as well. You could just stick them all in your pencil case and off you go. You could use the rain to do the work for you.
Yeah, I think it would get very sudden very quickly. One of the places we're looking at going was there's 18 inches of rain in August. So
that's man, it's a lot of rain. Lucy's coming with you too. Lucy, we'll just have to get another suitcase and pack you in there. Me too. I want to come too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if anyone's been and can have any suggestions of things to do, things you can't miss, especially in August in rainy season, let me know. It would be very good. Very appreciated.
Rena says it's the easiest way to paint watercolors.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to be? I don't know enough about Costa Rica to know if there's any big metropolises, like big relative to the small.
Yeah, there are, but that's not where we're going. We're going for the life and the sort of adventure stuff, really. So it will.
So no galleries, no museums, no.
No, not this time, sadly. But I am I'm going up to Scotland in the next couple of weeks. Trip cancelled from 2020, and on the way back I'm stopping with a friend in Manchester. So she's promised to take me to the Manchester Art Gallery, which is supposed to be amazing.
Good. Steph Holden wants to chat with you behind the scenes because she's been to Costa Rica a couple of times.
I knew she would have been. That woman, she's been everywhere. She's such an inspiration. And she's just been she's still in Malawi. She's been somewhere amazing. So you should get her on to chat.
Where are you, Steph? Are you at home yet? Or are you still traveling? Are you watching us while you're traveling?
That'd be amazing.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. There was a question earlier. The question was, I think it was how are paintings sold? So you sell your work through your website, and that's
FionaCantStudio.com.
FionaCantStudio.com. Okay. And I will add that, FionaCantStudio.com, to my show notes. And if those of you guys who don't know where to find show notes, afterwards when you see the replay, if you just tap on the name of the broadcast up at the top of your screen, it'll pull up everything that I write afterwards. So you'll be able to find Fiona and find out where to buy her beautiful art. but don't buy it all because she needs some of it for Open Studio.
It's all right. I'll get over that tomorrow. It's fine.
Okay. Fiona Cant, C-A-N-T. And on Instagram, she's Fee Cant, F-E-E-C-A-N-T. But I'll link it up so you'll find her. Hope Catcher Studio. What's your name? I like to know people's names. I find it challenging when people don't use their. I get it. Not everybody wants to use their full name online, but it makes it really hard when comments are going by and I'm like, oh, there's like, you know, somebody 123. I don't know who they are. Yes, that's it, Gabriella. Thank you, Cant. Fiona Cant. Awesome. Any more questions, guys? I saw Sue Bulmer was on here, and you know she's going live from her Cornwall retreat, just up the street from you, presumably when we're finished here.
It's like we're not that tiny.
Okay. Are you guys going to get together?
That probably is the street in Canada, isn't it?
Kathleen, excellent. Nice to meet you. I do like your name, Hope Catcher Studio. Just I didn't want to call you Hope Catcher. Well, it could have been Hope, right? There we go. You're having terrible internet today. It's not stormy there, is it? Sue says she's having terrible internet.
No, but she is down on the Lizard, which can be quite remote, so might be.
Oh well, that just adds the ambiance of being live in a remote location to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She's going on a wing and a sprayer, but I think she meant prayer.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
So my question to you is, when are you coming to Canada?
Oh, I don't know. I have to say, we're just blowing the budget, unfortunately, haven't we? It needs to come without kids, basically, I think, on that one, make it more affordable.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've had several UK trips canceled. We were supposed to go to Scotland and England and Scotland in 2020 as well. And that got canceled. And we were hoping we had a possibility of coming to London at the end of March, and we ended up not booking it because we just weren't sure what was going to happen with travel. You know, now it feels like, oh, we should have just done it because it would have been fine. But back when we had to decide in December, it was like, do we want to sink all this money and then not be able to go? So we didn't. So my chance to meet up with you then.
I just need to do a new vision board with Canada on it, Tamara. So
I need to do one too. I want you to talk a little bit more about that vision board because I only could see like a little bit of it, but you didn't do it the way a lot of us do, which is like, you know, cut and paste and put things on a bulletin board. It's an actual painting.
It is. So there were, you know me, there were words underneath it. There was, I was doing this as part of my 100-day project last year, which is where I really focused on using the energy techniques in a painting. So I can't really remember what I put in this now. So I did all sorts of weird things, like, so there would have been affirmations and stuff under here of what I wanted to bring in. And then I used things to represent it. So like the blossom, that was like the idea of, like, you know, wanting my business to grow organically and to blossom and, you know, bring lots of beautiful things into the world.
Which you have.
Thank you. Certainly met lots of beautiful people. And then, so the art studio, so that's got, again, all sorts of collage in there. I don't know what you can see that because of the light, because I varnished it. But that's, so the like in there was supposed to represent community because it's lots of little community of things. I think that might have been kale, eating healthily. Not sure that one's entirely worked out. Yeah, so that square was like a big window because I want my art studio to be warm, and chimney because I want it to, so warm, light even. And yeah, so that was the travel, but the elephant was also like Ganesh, which is abundance and all that kind of stuff, remover of obstacles. I don't know, I probably, that, believe it or not, is some sacred geometry stencil. I can't remember what that is now, but I think it was like to do with creativity and stuff like that. I can't remember which one it is. I was very into it at the time. So yeah, it's all things like that in it, really. So it's just, I really love that idea that a painting can mean more than, you know, and I think it's the stories behind paintings that sell them often, you know. You know, it's that connection you have with the piece, isn't it? And that's been a lot of what I do with the commissions, I guess, is doing that idea, but for somebody else. So yeah, and what else did I do? So some of it would have been painted to music or mantras. That was, so there was a Ganesh mantra that you can just get on YouTube. That was quite fun to paint to. And I probably used flower remedies in there somewhere. Did all sorts of things, but I was having fun.
It's kind of like a to-do list, and it sounds like you've done a lot of the things that you put on that board have come to fruition for you.
Yeah, it's the art studio is the hole. It's a big hole at the moment because we had a trampoline, an in-ground trampoline, so that's gone. So we've got a crater at the moment in the garden.
Right.
But hopefully, yeah. So we've got to put planning in, and obviously, not quite sure quite how we're going to finance it, but it's moving vaguely in that direction. So hopefully by the end of the year. So I need a new vision board.
It looks like a lot of people are inspired by your vision board. Yours is much more inspiring than mine. You're making me want to do something like that now.
Oh, they're so fun. They're really fun.
Yeah.
So I haven't varnished this actually. It's cross medium because I was going to. Well, it's a work in progress. I'll just keep painting on it. And then somebody said, "Oh no, you can't do that. I really love it as it is." So now I'm like, "Oh, I don't know whether to start again or."
You could do a new one. You could leave that one as things are mainly complete because there's now new things that you want to add and that you want to do, right? Then you could have a whole series of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Someday.
But they're good fun, definitely. So. Yeah.
Douglas, you started to ask a question. It said for you both, but I didn't see anything after that. Ask again. Congratulations on manifesting your dream studio. Yeah, that's when I'll come to England. When you have your dream studio all built, then I'll come and I'll do an artist retreat with you. We can just do a retreat in your backyard.
Can you imagine? That'd be so fun. Let's make it happen. Right, that's going to be board along with a trip to Canada.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Douglas is asking, do you listen to music while painting? If so, what inspires you? What music inspires you? Good question, Douglas.
I tend to use music more intentionally. So it would be if I wanted so in that instance, so like with the Ganesh mantra, that I wanted to put that energy particularly into a painting, or I've done it, there's solfeggio music, which is all about sort of high frequency music to sort of balance different chakras. So I've done that before, so working on energy level. But often I'm just listening to podcasts or just in my own head, actually, not really. So I tend to use it more as an intentional thing rather than if it's just music I enjoy, then I'm not really focusing on that and using it for the painting in the same way.
Yeah, I find I tend to use music the same way when I'm painting it. And I found this especially with commission work, because when I've done commission work, I have feelings and words that I'm trying to, that the client has said they want the painting to be about. And so finding music that makes me feel those feelings and playing that sort of on repeat while I'm painting them, I find helps me a lot.
Yeah, that's great. And there's been people have had a particular song that's really personal to them. So I've put a bit of the sheet music in, but then also listen to that while painting as well. And that's the nice thing to do.
Yeah. So, some days you feel like listening to podcasts, but some days that doesn't do it for you either.
Exactly. It's all about the intention for me. So, and I think it depends what stage of the painting you're at as well. Sometimes you need to be a lot more thoughtful, don't you? And a lot more, things like that. So
yeah, I'm painting edges today, so I don't have to be thoughtful at all. I mean, I have to be precise, but I can listen to whatever I want. Once the color's mixed, I'm good to go.
Yeah, no, that's the time for a good podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. So let me ask you one more question. So anything that you're looking forward to in your art practice that's coming up? I know Open Studios is happening, but in terms of, something you wanted to play with, explore, set aside time to do that you haven't had time to do, I'd love to hear.
At the moment, it just feels like painting. I feel like I just haven't had the time. A couple of months back, I was so inspired and so into that play and creative and discovering what All Sticks were doing. And I don't feel that's finished. I feel there's so much more. I want to try it more with collage and, you know, different, and again, making my own collage paintings that I could use with it. And, you know, it's there's so much I want to do there with it. And at the moment, I'm a little bit, I've got no time.
Yeah. I mean, but collage papers are one of those things that are actually, when you don't have a lot of time, it's really easy to do. Like, you know, days when you don't feel intensely creative, like you want to pull out an actual painting, I find grabbing Jelly Plate is a really wonderfully meditative way to spend that downtime.
It is lovely, but it's messy, and I'm
that's
working 4 days this week, and then I'm cleaning the house and packing up to going away, so it's not happening.
Gotcha.
But hopefully I will find some space in our little Scottish cottage, and so turn that into a studio. So
well, I hope you share with us where you are and what your view's like, and if you're working in that on Instagram. I always like to see where things are. Scotland is like my spirit animal country. I swear I was in a different life. I was Scottish.
And it's you know, it's the same size as England. There's quite a lot of Scotland. There's lots of different parts. So we're going to it. My husband's Scottish and his family is Scottish, so that's where we go a lot. And so we're going to Dumfries and Galloway this time, which is part that none of us have been to before. So that'll be nice. But it's right on this little lock, so it should be really beautiful, I think. So looking forward to it.
Sounds wonderful. Just send me pictures. I want to pretend I'm there.
And the great thing about art is that I don't care if it rains now, because I'm like, that's fine. I'm gonna stay in and paint.
That's wonderful.
So you always go with, I always go with low expectations on the weather for Scotland. So I'm disappointed.
Well, yes, and isn't the phrase like there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just poor clothing?
Definitely. Good old Billy Connolly.
Is that who said it? Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds great. I don't see any more questions. We've been chatting for 45 minutes. This always happens when Fee and I hop on. We have lots of these private chats behind the scenes, or we used to talk more often when things weren't so busy. It kind of feels like that today, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to catch up, definitely.
It is.
So thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. This was your first live, right? Your first official live, other than the pop-on you did with us a couple months ago.
So I know, right? You make it very easy. It doesn't feel live at all. So
it doesn't feel like 400 people were watching you today. No, I'm just kidding.
There were 22. I feel now.
But
having said that, 22 people in front of me in a real house, it would be quite off-putting.
It would be. But the great thing is when we I do save this. It'll go up on my Instagram channel. I also save them to YouTube, so people have been finding us over on YouTube, which is great. So we'll actually probably get quite a few hundred views over the next couple of weeks getting to know Fiona. So thanks so much for being with us today, and I'm gonna get this up and saved and hopefully hop onto Sue Bulmer's live in 13 minutes, because she internet willing is going to tell us a little bit more about her retreat. So
yeah, and it's a shame I didn't get to chat with Barb, so I hope I'm up.
Yeah, we're thinking about you, Barb. I didn't see her on here. She didn't pop on to watch, so she's kind of waiting to see if she needs to do anything for her mom. Hopefully everything goes well, and we'll be chatting with her again next week. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. Lovely to see everybody and all your comments. And Fiona, it's been great.
Thank you. Yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.